Hi guys. Can you hear me? How's the sound quality?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I see that you only two. Is anything known about others? Are they gonna join us?
No.
Okay, okay, fine. All right. Okay, so the recording is activated, and I'm about to share my screen so we can go through another things related to C++. Okay, and I'm sharing my entire screen. Well, I suppose you can see it. Can you?
Yes.
Okay. So so previous time we were talking about some really basic things like how the main part of the app is being structured in C++. We were talking about that there are a lot of different compilers and there are a lot of different stuff related to those compilers, as well as we try to print out some elements on the screen. We try to add coloring to them, but related to coloring, well, it was a bit problematic because unfortunately what I figure out that the codes which I literally try to give you, those had some encoding problems. But now you can literally take this code, so you can find it right here, C++ colors, and you have to be able to copy these codes, and you can pass them into the app, and things should be working well. So how I fixed that problem, which I figured out previous time. So the problem, it was related to this code line. Well, maybe I can open the editor so you could see the stuff. So the problem was related to this line. So here I had some symbol, some hidden symbol encoded somehow in non-understandable for Dev C++ way. So what I did, I literally copied this line, which is same, over this line. And by that, I just rewrote that symbol. Frankly saying, I didn't really find out which symbol it was, but it doesn't really matter if we can just fix that in some very simplistic way, I would say. Okay, anyway, since this code is fixed, so what did we have here? Let's just run it to take a look how it works. So as you can see here, I set up the coloring for the whole terminal. And I said that once, I said that twice, and after that I changed the background of the text, which I'm gonna print out on the screen. And I have one pose here and the second pose basically which is before ending the app. And let's take a look how it works. So let's compile this and let's run it. Yeah, so here we have the first coloring of the terminal, of the whole terminal. Then we press enter, and then we have another coloring plus we have these texts written in different background. So you can apply these colorings, for example, only for the foreground, and it will be fine. You will be just changing the text color. But don't forget that every color has its own number. Well, that was the thing related to the problem which we had on the previous class. Okay, so what we'll be doing right now. Right now, we will be taking a look on another materials we have, and we will be starting with the lesson 2. Well, the lesson 2 is quite small, so let's see if we will make that in a shorter way. And if it will happen, we will take the third one. Okay, so anyways, the app. When we write the app, we literally construct the algorithm, and well, probably you know that before writing the codes, we have to be sure, we have to be 100% sure what we're about to code, and for those purposes. In most of the cases, we use such things as flowcharts, right? Well, I suppose you already know what is the flowchart, but if you don't, so it's a construction of graphical elements where where elements are connected between themselves by arrows, and the arrow literally shows a way of execution, a way of running the commands, and sometimes we have some conditional elements which leads us to one way or another way based on whenever condition which is given to those structures is correct or false. The idea. Well, maybe we won't be overlooking tons of these things, but anyways, it has to be mentioned that such things literally exist. And why we literally need those block schemes to 100% make the algorithm understandable for every person who will take a look on that and try to get what's made. For example, let me give you an example, and I will give you maybe basic explanations related to a block scheme. So let's suppose we would need to find out solution for the following equation. T is equal to T is equal to 2 multiplied by A multiplied by B plus 5 multiplied by C. Well, you know, to find out C value, we have to know A, B, and C values. And the program, the algorithm, should be working for every case of A, B, and C values. So it means the algorithm has to catch up if there are some problems with values, if values are allowed ones, and so on and so on. So it's how to say it's placed on algorithm's shoulders. So how do we make that? So we say, okay, there is the beginning of the algorithm, and surely there is the finish of the algorithm or the end of the algorithm. And before making anything, we say, okay, we have to have A, B, and C. So we're saying that we will have imaginary input of A, B, and C, and those would be whatever values. Then a rectangle object means operational block. So inside that we place whatever equations or maybe formulas, and so on and so on, and we run them. We calculate them. If it happens that we have some temporary unknowns or temporary variables, we can call them differently, we would need to specify. Well, I mean, first time mentioning them exactly in this operational block. So it should not be placed into the input. Well, and sometimes you can make some temporary variables, like in this case x and y, and then you can use them to get the result. And then we have the outputting of the value of t, which literally means that we somehow, and we are not specify how, but we give the value to the user. And that leads to the end of the algorithm. So very, very simple thing, right? And there could be maybe several questions. Well, how to do that? So let's try to make that So what can we do? Well, we can literally have libraries, and actually I will be showing you two types of printing out and receiving from keyboard information. And once again, please remember that different compilers, they have different restrictions. So you have to just remember what those compilers are different with and what you can use in one compiler and what you cannot use in another. So let's make the app. So here we have a lot of interest stuff. So here we have some libraries included. Here we have some comments for ourselves. Here we have some function which is available in all of compilers, but we can use system clear instead of clear screen function. Then we can have variables. So literally those are unknowns that are allowed to store values, and those values could be whatever values, like 2, 5, and whatever. And then we have the function printf. So what this function does, literally it just prints an information on the screen using a specific template. About the templates, we'll be talking a bit later, mostly next to the end of the app. And we have a so-called scanning, which receives information from keyboard while user typed enter. And we have a template of data which is receivable. And $D means that we are receiving integer value. It means even if you would try to add a fraction to the value, and you would try to type there, that fraction will never be saved. Okay, so we are on the screen a equal to, and then after that space, after the equal, there will be the cursor blinking. And then once we will type something, we will fill in information, and the cursor will be floating on the right side after each key pressed. Okay, and once we press enter, so that info will be go to variable A. The same for variable B and the same for variable C. Okay. Next, how it happens that we calculated some? Well, we just write, for example, x is equal to, and then we write an equation. So firstly, there's a destination equal and the value, or as we call that, source. And by following such a way, we can calculate x, y, it was in the example, and then based on that, we can calculate the value of t. And then what do we have here? We have printf, and as I said, we can print out information using a template. So here we have the template. So it's the text in which we have included the percentage sign plus some key, and their combination gives us a specific symbol. Well, the specific symbol says that another value from the rest arguments will be used as the integer value, and that's actually the result. So we have getChar. So it's so once again we use system pose instead of getChar because getChar literally waits for the key being pressed, whatever key being pressed. Okay, so let's maybe try to use it in the app. Okay, I can take that. I can, oh, okay, I pressed the right button for copying. Yes, like this. So we have this part. So maybe let's replace the pose. Oh no, system pose. Here we have integer values definition. Here we have printf. So once again, just the printing on the screen, starting from the cursor position. Then we have the scanning. So the app asks something and we make a reaction on that. Okay, so same has to go for B and C values. So B and C values. Okay. Then we have this computation. And then we have the printout that basically shows us all components of so how many templates do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the additional variables are 1, 2, 3, 4. So overly 4. So the first template will be replaced by the first variable's value. Second template will be replaced by the second variable's value, and third will be replaced by the third variable's value, and fourth will be replaced by fourth variable's value. Okay, so here I have to put polls on the bottom, and here we need to have something like a clear screen, but I suppose clear will be fine enough. Okay, so let's run it and let's see what we will have. Okay, so this particular compiler needs the integer to even back to the app which run that. So we will have return 0 in the end. Okay, so system is not defined here, so so mostly we'll have to define window.h library. Or maybe windows.h. It's a bit complicated sometimes to clear is not recognized. Okay, so we can find out the exact clear function. But anyways, let's go for value a. Okay, let's suppose it will be 5. B, okay, let's say it will be 7. C, let's say it will be 9. Okay, so what do we have? We have the print out, so we have 2 multiplied by a multiplied by b, so 2 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 7 plus 5c plus 5 multiplied by c, so that's 9. So overly so overly the summation will give us 115. Well, as we can see, here we have already same text as we had here. Well, it happens because once we finish that, the terminal is being still used by another software, and that software assumes that, okay, once that software try to run your software, then it has to continue execution from the same app they did the launching of this app. That's the idea. So to make the space, to make the enter space, what we need to do? we need to add /n here because /n literally replaces kind of the enter sign. And let's maybe run that again. Yeah, so now you can see, once we get the result, the next output happens on the next row. Okay, do we have any questions related to this app?
No.
Okay, great. So let's go further. Well, we already have seen that there is a data type or a structure of unknowns or variables, we can call them differently, and we used such a thing as integer. So what is it? Well, the integer, so that's just a number without fraction. But there could be the question, how much memory that variable takes, and what values is it possible to save in it? So here we have a small table of definitions of data types and their value ranges. So the integer, well, the nowadays integer has such big varieties of numbers, which are assignable to variable with this data type, as well as there are some data types which are kind of unsigned, so it means they don't really have signs, because when we have the negative value, it takes out half from the positive part. So literally, if you would try to compare these numbers and this number, you'll find out that they're actually the same if you would just put this left money back, value back, for example, to this one, to summate that, and by that you will receive exactly such number. There are even operations available for C++ commands. So, for example, it's plus, minus, multiplication, division, and division reminder. Okay, well, sometimes we need to work with data types which are far away from being kind of natural number entity, let's call it that way. So at those cases, we need to use the following types. So float, double, long double. Literally, what are they? So floating point allows us to save pretty detailed information or a pretty big information within its data type. Well, floating data types nowadays not over popular, but anyways, because the precision itself, which is given to that, is pretty low. Another one is a data type double, which basically works in a bit bigger range than float. So it means that possible values possible values which are gonna be saved. They primarily take at least twice more memory, but they can be very, very accurate. Surely there are such things as logical um, logical types. Well, what is the logical type? Well, in most of the cases, it's so-called true or false, and there are operations between true and false. Another data type, character. Well, it can be specified as the 8 bits text. Moreover, if there is the text, then we need to somehow split the text from others. And what we do for that purpose? Well, um, we can use codes that basically says that the text is being recognized as the text. Or sometimes we can use pretty specific symbols, but let's not maybe talk about this. Okay, so what do we have here? Okay, so here we have the rate, or some rate, or the monetary exchange. Okay, we can have text. So this is another interesting thing. So you can use a list of characters, like array of characters, to some uh, literally you can do that to store text. You don't need really to assign every character separately. Okay, and then for example, we can calculate the monetary unit change. Well, and in the end, you can even um, maybe find out even some maybe statistical data or whatever, because a lot of things are calculable, within programming. Surely we can take this line. So maybe I will take these ones. We can put them maybe somewhere here. Like this. Oh, okay. Here we have to. Okay, that's a bit strange. Why it's here? Because we had to use rate, but okay, it's fine. Okay, so we have to have this value. Okay, let's use this notification too. Okay, so for example, we would like to convert money from previous numerical system, monitor system, which we had here. Okay, and we're about to receive data in euros. Okay, pretty strange stuff happened, but in the same time, the new line that didn't work. Okay, so literally I used a variable which wasn't really um, declared. Yes, so that's why it happened. Yes, now it's correct. Okay. Okay, and let's take a look in the chat. How many of you already shown that? Well, seen those problems. Let's take a look. Okay, so chat is empty. Okay, let it be so. Okay, let's go further. And it's really fine to receive some data from the keyboard, and we can save that data in different typed variables. Some of them can be integers, some of them can be whatever other ones. And let's maybe take a look on the construction of this possibility. So this is just one of ways how to do that. We can use scanf, we use a template as textual way, and we use the reference. Well, this one is called the reference to variable, and that's it. In the same time, we can use scanf for receiving several values from keyboard. And since we're using templates, so it could be the question, okay, in which case do we read float value? In which case do we read character value? How those letters are connected to this? So let's take a look. So percentage sign C is one symbol, percentage D sign integer, a percentage U unsigned integer, percentage E decimal number in exponent representation, small f different number, and S character string, literally text. Okay, so here we have a bit more modified apps. So again, we have libraries, we have variables, we're initiating something, so we asking for values, so we scan them. Then we receive three integer values. We calculate the template. Okay, and we show the results on the screen. That's the idea. Okay, here we have another way of doing that, of making some printouts, includes, and so on and so on. Here the story is a bit maybe easier. We still need the library, and library for the shorter way of printing out things. And that library is called IOStream. Okay, and we have the main function in which we save all variables. We ask once again all data to be added. Then we calculate the result, and then we construct equation of texts in it. Okay, well, maybe we could try to do that. So let's take this code. So we'll have A, B, C. They will be just received one after another one, and we will calculate afterwards the value of equation, and we'll print each literally data separately about the equation, and by that's it. Okay, in case of Firestream, maybe we don't really need to think a lot about data types, but in the same time, it's better to guarantee the data type of received value. Okay, anyway, so what we're doing? So we're using Firestream. Okay, so this is copied. And let's maybe copy the entire content of function. Okay, so an Firestream that provides a lot of libraries. And by the way, if you would like to take a look what those libraries are providing, what you can do, you can press the control button and you can move the cursor on the file and you can click it with the left mouse button. So you can find out a lot of different maybe references to another library. So maybe you already can find out pre-prepared functions. Well, that will be the good question. Okay, anyways, how the printf and scanf are replaced? So we use the printout, and then we use afterwards and afterwards you can use a sign // after which you have text. Literally, it allows to print that text, but be sure that you will have these // symbols as many as you will have printouts. Okay, let's maybe run it. Okay, so we have a okay, so we have some result. Okay, that's great. By the way, do we have any questions related to these types of printing out information and receiving the information. Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, assignment of values. Well, when we specify the value, the variable, we specify that with a specific data type, which means automatically that the only value of the data type can be assigned to variables. Okay, so here we have just few examples of definition of variables. And we can have both values, parametric computations, um, and others, literally. But anyways, all computations, all computational results have been saved in storages or variables of specific data type. Okay, maybe we can scroll this one because we already had a talk about these things. The next lab. We already had a talk that we have to use a /n because /n is the same as um, um, So /n literally works as the enter, but in the same time, it works like that not for all compilers because still there are some misconfigurations on both of on all of um, um, kind of operating system compilers. It has to be known, but in most of the cases, /n is good for macOS and Linux, and /r/n is good for Windows systems. Well, horizontal tabulation means that you have some space. Potentially, you can have space which you can make without having any symbols on that. It's like when you it's like when you're working with the Excel, you just write something, then you save data, then you open, and it looks like that some texts are written in a bit incorrect way, incorrect orders. Well, it's just something like that. Okay, so here we have, by the way, example of tabulation. So it's /t. So here we have variable tabulation plus tabulation, variable tabulation. So it's A. Then we have tabulation. Then we have plus. After the plus, we have tabulation. After the class, we have tabulation and something else. So literally an interesting thing that tabulation signs. But besides that, there are tons of others. For example, sound signal, which is different for for computers, which is different for some machines even. Okay, here we have, no, wait a bit. Here we have that function that was related to printf. Okay, here we have another example related to computations, that computations are available on the computer. So what do we have here? We have price for pencils and pens. We have variables that would store amount of pencils and pens. A customer would need to receive. Then there is the float and full summation. Okay, so it's just variable equation, so it doesn't have any values so far. Then there's a cout. So cout and the block with the text. So literally printed out the text. And as you can see, it's much easier to receive value from a keyboard. So you can use in just CIN. And literally that value which is written by customer, and when customer pressed enter, that value will be assigned to a cout1. Oh no, it's count1, not cout. Okay, so same story for pens, and then we are able to calculate summation, and then we can just print out every piece of information in the terminal. And once again, we can have the system pause and the system 0. Okay, so next example. So we need to make the program that asks the user to enter a 3-digit number and outputs it in the reverse order. Okay, so what can we do? For example, we can do for that purpose literally well, since we're using only 3 digits, so what do? We can divide x by 100. The result will be in this case integer. Well, how it happens? Because in this equation we have x, and x would be whatever value, but it's integer, and we have 100, which is once again the integer. So if that happens, then the result of this equation and this equation's result itself will be assigned to a variable. Okay, so literally you can see that once you would like to print another portion of data, you can split that in several pieces, and then you can just print that out. Let's call it that way. Okay, so the next one, well, for sure we can use, you know, we can use, as it was shown, some some specific operations like reminder of division, So when we use such operation, we have to be quite ready to receive integer in the end. Same for divisions in which there are no in which there um, in which there are no non-integer data types. Let's call it that way. Okay, let's take a look on the following case. So the program uses user to enter the name and then greets the user. So we have characters, literally the array of 50 characters, and we are asking for the name, and by seeing we receive the name. And the program wants to greet us, so it will be hello world and then the name. And then the pose goes from then pose goes um, as the ending feature of the app. Okay, so here I have several tasks for you. Let's maybe compare them to the following ones. Okay, well, maybe I can ask you to make the app of um, to make it the app that calculates x and y values based on data which are given by user. And in most of the cases here, it's written like the draw the block diagram, but the block diagram is not really needed. So guys, please try to make the task of the first program needed. And once it will be done, then maybe you can post it in the chat, so it will be clear for us that you finished. Okay, so is the task clear for you? Okay, so please make it, and once it's done, then post it in the chat. Okay, so yeah, so there's answer only from Carolis. But what's about Faustinus and Nikita? Is the task clear? Maybe we have to take a look on something additionally to make it sure that you can make the solution. Okay, guys, so please continue be working on this task. Task number one. Guys, please put a plus in the chat if you are already started to work on the task. Just to be sure that you're working. Okay, thank you, Carolis. Okay, thank you, Faustinus. What's about Nikita? Okay, okay, great, great. So is there any progress, guys, on the first task? Or you need some more minutes? Okay, looks like some more minutes are needed because there are no answers. Okay. Okay, so if the first task is done, then okay, we still have some minutes. So I would recommend you after the first one, you can try to okay, maybe you don't remember equations, so maybe the second task will not be great. Um, then what you can do? So maybe after the first task, please make the fourth one. Well, it's super easy. You need to provide the codes that ask the first name, last name, um, and year of birth of the person, and then you have to print out one whole sentence where you mention last name, first name of the person, and how old is that person. So you will need to somehow make a difference between the current year and year of birth. Well, I fully understand that here the age computation assumes to know months and day, But let's say we know only year. So after the first task, please make the false one. And once again, once you finish task, please let me know. Because I need to know the progress. Okay, see that Nikita finished the first task as well. So right now, please do the task number 4. The question to Faustinus, are you stuck somewhere in the middle of the first task? Oh, okay, okay, that makes sense. The only thing you didn't write anything in the chat, so I was thinking like, okay, maybe you still are working on the first one. Okay, 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 just keep working, please. Okay, just few minutes left for the class. So, what's the progress related to the fourth task? Did you make that, or you are still in the process? Oh, okay. So, if you finish the fourth one, well, maybe during these few minutes you can try to uh try to make the third one. So, if you have seconds given by user, how you can split that in seconds, minutes, and hours. Like if you have, let's say, 70 seconds, it's 1 minute and 10 seconds. Okay, looks like it's the time. So maybe the last thing from you guys. So what's your progress? Did you almost finish the third task? Maybe, and what's about Nikita? Did Nikita made the fourth task till the end? Okay, while you guys are writing, so maybe you already have seen that we have the homework, right? Here you will need to submit the homework, and for the homework, guys, you will have such a list of tasks. So all of these tasks must be made by each of you guys, and you will need to submit your solutions. In most of the cases, we have kind of a 2 weeks schedule for submitting. So I will maybe write here a so-called deadline, which means that before the deadline, you can receive the highest mark for that. After that, the highest mark is impossible. Okay, so right now we have a 9th of February. Okay, give me a second. I will take a look at the calendar. So it's 9, 16, 30, 33. Okay, so let it be the 33 of February. Oh, 23 of the February. So deadline is 2302. This one. Okay, so before that, when you will submit, you are able to receive 10. After that, 10 is not possible for this. Is it clear, guys, about the mark and about the deadline? Okay, great. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for being today here. I really hope to see next time much more of you guys, because everyone is welcomed to these classes. And things related to you, well, we need just to continue working on all this. Then that's it. That's it. Okay, guys. So I really appreciate that you were connected, and next time we'll be continue working on things. Okay, have a nice evening, guys, and see you next time. Bye bye.